Are you feeling like Atlas these days? Like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. You know, burdens come in all different forms, but for sure, our burdens are our burdens. They are heavy, they wear us down, and they wear us out. The longer we carry them, the heavier they get. But remember, all this shall pass. Come as you are. Come as you are. Today I'm really comfortable. I'm just, in a sweatshirt. I mean, maybe you're in a sweatshirt too. It's kind of cold here today. And I know it's cold where many of you practice. Come as you are with what you got. And maybe you don't have much. Maybe you don't have any props, and that's fine. I'm going to do today's practice with the things I always say can be substitutes for props. And you've got them around your house. I'm Jan. This is 316 Yoga. This is your yoga from home. Most importantly, the bottom of the screen says, do what's right for your body. This is your body, your one and only temple, your body. Take care of it. Don't hurt it. This is a restorative practice. We practice every single day live, start to finish, no cuts. So what you see is real, just like being in a real class. 1 hour long today, and it's restorative. Restorative means it's just a practice where you spend longer periods of time in the poses. Typically in a practice, we'll go through maybe 30, 40 poses, but in today's practice, we've got about 6 poses. That's all, because you take your time, you rest into the poses, you don't hurt your body, you modify when you need to. You could even be doing this practice in a chair. I'll talk you through that as well. But you're going to rest. You're going to rest into your poses. And think of this word. The word is refresh. Yesterday, I think the word was revive. Today, it's refresh. Revive was to bring back to life, and we sure did that. Refresh is to restore, to provide new vigor and energy by first finding rest. So important. All right. As you rest today, think of not only resting your body, and I know it might seem, oh, I'm just lying around doing nothing. You are so not doing that. Think of this practice as refreshing 3 things: your body, your mind, and most importantly, your soul. It gives you some quiet time on your mat, your place of peace. That's the most important thing. All right, the props. Let's get to them real quick. Didn't have my eye shade because I'm not using yoga props. I've just got 2 little hand towels. Totally fine. They're very versatile. I've got a nice big beautiful quilt in lieu of my yoga blanket. A blanket's a blanket, right? 2 pillows from my sofa, and also a big cushion from the sofa in the den. All right, so that's all you need. Maybe you got your bolster, your blocks, it's all good, but these things can double as those things. Some water handy, always good to have your water. Let's begin. All right, so nothing special. Well, the only special thing it takes is something really special. It takes a lot of time. Take your time and your willingness to just be here. Nothing else is special. You can be down on a towel. All right, let's lock in a stress number as we start to come down to a child's pose. Now, if you're in a chair, you can be seated and just take your bolster and drape it over your thighs and then rest forward. That's the way to do it in the chair. Now, as you're resting here, the stress number on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 to 10, what are you feeling right now? Give it a number, lock it in, and we'll come back to it at the end. We're going to find peace in the pause here on our mats. All right, so I've got the bolster or the big pillow from my sofa. I'm going to put a couple more pillows on it, and I'm going to put a towel on top of it. My knees are spread here, and I'm just going to come to recline on this setup. So bringing the chest down, so maybe bring your bolsters up to your belly. We're going to stay here 5 minutes, and you're going to think, oh my gosh, 5 minutes, that's a long time. It's not that long. Come on now, come on down and rest. Knees are slightly spread so I can be comfortable here. If this doesn't feel good on your knees, sit on your bottom. Legs can be long or slightly bent, and the same thing like the folks in the chair are doing. Place the bolster on your lap or a pillow on your lap and fold forward, allowing the chest to rest. That's what we're going after. Breathe deeply in through your nose and out through your mouth. Nestle in, don't worry about where your arms are. Perhaps you might want to turn your head and rest on one cheek. And when we're about halfway through, I'll let you know so you can turn your head and rest on the other cheek. I'm just feeling resting on my chin today. Deep breaths in through your nose and even bigger breaths out through your mouth. And get comfortable here. I'm going to remove one of the pillows because I'm just ready to go lower. Hardest part in this practice is stilling your mind. As thoughts come, just let them go. You'll come back to them. You'll remember them later if they're worth remembering. But right now, just focus on the depth of your breath. Deep breaths in and big sighing breaths out. And when you're ready, if it works for you, close your lips and breathe in and out of your nose only. And feel the expansion in the back of your ribs. Exhale fully and feel your navel go back to touch your spine. If you've been resting your head on one cheek, it is time to turn the other cheek. As you exhale, make your exhales a little bit bigger and slower than your inhales. Increased exhalation leads to greater peace and restoration and relaxation. Let your chest be heavy. Release the burdens from your shoulders. Take a deep breath in. And your deep, slow breath out. Now this is your child's pose. You can stay here longer if you like. It's totally up to you. I'm going to move on to a thunderbolt pose if you want to join me in that. All right, so I'm going to press up off of all my cushions and I'm going to sit back on my heels. Maybe you don't like that, so maybe you stay in the chair, totally fine. Maybe you sit crisscross applesauce, you know that pose, where you bend the knees and crisscross your legs, and that's a fine place to stay. Perhaps you bring your feet or foot up onto the opposite thigh. It's all good, because we're going to work on the neck, so don't worry so much about your legs. I'll send my legs long, just something different. I'm going to put the pillow on my legs just because it feels good. A little bit of weight feels really, really good on the body. So sometimes we talk about a weighted blanket and sandbags. So same kind of thing. So just place the pillow on your thighs if your legs are long. Totally up to you. Or take that Sukhasana, the Sukhasana or Thunderbolt pose. Lengthen up through the crown of your head and soften in your shoulders. So you're sitting up nice and straight, shoulders over the hips. Take a deep breath in and a deep cleansing breath out. Let's work on the neck a little bit. Neck is so important. Mobility in the neck. You don't want to be a stiff-necked people. You don't want to lose that mobility in your neck. Perhaps the eyes are closed, but if vertigo is kind of a thing for you, open the eyes. Open them and maybe just softly flutter the eyelids open. We're just going to turn the head from right to left. Gently. No rush, no hurry. Don't sweat it. It's just yoga. So you're turning your head. Isn't it true, though, that the simplest of things are the best of things? We overcomplicate life. Come back to the basics. Come back to finding less and enjoying less. We're talking about that all year. Our word for the year is less. All right, turn your head right to left, left to right. Maybe eyes are closed. Maybe you take it a little farther, whatever feels right. Bring your head back slowly to the midline, its natural position in your body. Lengthen up through the crown of your head. And as you exhale, settle into your bottom on your chair or your mat. And then start to do neck circles here. Just circle your head around and around. You got a good head on your shoulders. Keep it mobile, keep it flexible. Then circle your head in the opposite direction. You know, no right or wrong. The only wrong would be if it hurts. Maybe you imagine like drawing circles on the wall in front of you with your nose. Maybe that's how you do your circles. Just move your neck and embrace those little crunchies in the neck. As long as they don't hurt, you're okay. Don't sweat it. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. We did this yesterday. I'll talk you through this. This is a great stretch for the neck. You can keep your eyes closed. I'm going to lift my left arm up, up, up to the sky. I'm going to bend that left elbow and I'm going to take my left hand and place it on top of my right ear. I'm going to encourage my left ear to my chest or to my shoulder by pulling a little bit, using the strength in that hand and arm. And I'm going to soften in my right shoulder. Tongue away from the roof of your mouth. Back shoulder, right shoulder is back and down. Just feel the goodness of this stretch all up and down the right side of your neck. Soften your jaws. And soften your right shoulder. Let it float down. As you're ready, slowly release the hand from the ear and then slowly bring your head back to the midline. Let the left arm come down to your lap or the pillow. Come back to the midline, lengthen up, and we're going to do it on the other side too. So lift your right arm up to the sky, bend your right elbow, placing the right fingertips on top of the left ear, and encourage the head to the right side of your body. Same thing here. You're in control. That hand, how much do you want to encourage that right ear to the shoulder? All the while, the left shoulder, letting it melt down towards your mat. You're still sitting up straight. Breathe in, breathe out. We all tend to hold stress in our shoulders, hence our little greeting today with feeling like your atlas with the weight of the world on your shoulders. So let it go. Maybe a little more intensity with the hand, or not. You know what feels good. I'm going to slowly release my hand from my head. Then I'm going to let my head slowly float back up to the midline of my body. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Soften up. Tee out your arms, palms face forward. Tee them out. We're going to give ourselves a big hug. But first, press the backs of those hands to the back of the room a little bit more. Breathe. Let your chest be lifted. Let your chest be open while letting your shoulders sink down. When you're ready, take a big hug. Let the arms come forward. They're still extended. Let them come forward. They're parallel to each other. Let them crisscross. Bring one arm on top of the other. Reach your fingertips toward your spine. Maybe they don't get too close. That's all right. Just imagine giving yourself a big hug. Now, squeeze tightly. Your shoulders are up near your ears. Soften the shoulders down and think of broadening your back to the sides of your room. So a broad back, strong shoulders, tight hug. You know, when we are stressed, think about what you do with your shoulders. You kind of collapse them inward, right? We want to broaden through the back. We want to be strong. We're going to take a fish-like pose on our pillows in a little bit, which will help you again open up through the chest. When you're stuck in that stress mode, give yourself a big hug, or I'll show you something else to do after we do this big hug. So you're squeezing the shoulders tightly to the sides of the room. Release the arms now, and you're going to do it on the other side. Remember which arm you got on top. Open up your arms big and wide. Press the backs of your hands to the back of the room. Feel your chest open up. It's a beautiful feeling. And then arms come forward. Same thing, big hug with the opposite arm on top. So reach your hands back, back, back toward your spine. Shoulders, they're up by the ears. Soften them and expand through your shoulders to the sides of your room. Tight squeeze. You really feel this. You're really expanding the upper body to the sides of the room. All right, let's release this big hug. Take your hands, let them float down behind your low back and interlace your fingers. And then just hinge forward a little bit. Hinge forward a little bit. Work your hands a little bit up the back wall. We're not going to hurry through this. You don't have to take it to 110%, which so many of us want to do. Just take a few breaths here. Lift the arms a little higher, maybe. Breathe in, breathe out. Shoulders are back. And we're going to roll on back up to a seated position. Find your little towel. We're going to do cow face. So again, going to open up through the chest. So we're going to take a half cow face pose. Going to take the towel into one hand, bring that arm up overhead, bend the elbow, hug that elbow that has the towel hand with it. Hug that elbow in with the other hand close to your ear. Then take that arm that's free, reach it around, and find the tail of that cow. Find the tail of that towel and pull it down. Keep pulling. And it might feel good, we call this flossing our shoulders. It might feel good to just kind of move the towel up and down a little bit between the shoulder blades. You decide what you like. Other side. So let's just bring the arms back around, redo it. Bring the towel into the other hand. Bring that arm up to the sky. Hug that other elbow in towards your ear. Reach the hand around, capture the towel, and give it a nice tug. So that whole tricep up that side of the arm where the elbow is raised to the sky, you really feel a nice stretch there. Breathe deeply and let the shoulders feel good. Let's finish here. Let that towel go. Put your props aside, and we're going to come into a really wonderful pose, which we do often. It's a resetting pose, pentacle. Pentacle is the pose. So you're going to come down to your back on your mat, but take your time getting here and let it feel really, really good. So recline completely. If you're in the chair, you can do something similar to this. Just spread your legs and spread your arms and just kind of settle on back. Create an X shape in your body if that feels good for you. Breathe in, breathe out. No rush, no hurry. And your shoulders. We loosened them up quite a bit, but if it doesn't feel good in your shoulders to have your body in this capital letter X shape, just float your arms down like you're doing a snow angel, and until you come to a point where it feels good, and then stop and rest there. And as you rest there, maybe as time elapses a little bit, you can kind of scoot your hands up a little higher. You know what feels right. Just give it a try. And what you're doing is good enough. The goal, if there is a goal, is to feel good. Not to rush, not to make all of our poses look exactly alike. Just feel good. Soften the area between your eyebrows and deepen your breath. In this moment, no thoughts, no worries, just be comfortable. And maybe comfortable is putting that blanket on your belly, because it might be cold where you are. Just feel the gravity beneath your body. The earth is firm, it's supporting you. You can let your body go. This is a pentacle pose. It's good for your posture too, because think about it. As you've let the body go, the shoulders are really far back and down. Your bottom is plugged into the earth. Your back is nice and straight, thanks to the strong foundation beneath you. Great pose in which to stay. And you can do that. Stay in any pose that is speaking to your body today. I'm going to come out of this pentacle pose and I'm going to make my way to that caterpillar pose. That's a big folding forward pose. It's nice to alleviate tension in the low back. You decide what you'd like to do. Maybe stay or maybe go. I'm going to float my arms down by my sides and I'm going to push on up to a seated position. I'm going to keep my legs nice and long, but they're together. I'm going to take maybe the bolster or your pillow or some combination thereof. Maybe decide what is the right height for you. You want to scoot the edge of your bolster up towards your chest. You're going to lengthen up through your spine to begin, and then you're going to hinge forward here. You're going to make your way to bringing your chest down toward your extended legs. Maybe you need to add a layer to your quilt or another pillow to bring the bolster up to you. And one other little comment. Your legs are long. How do they feel in the hamstrings? Might be a bit much. You could slip your pillow underneath your knees or a rolled up, like burrito style, rolled up towel. So get comfortable in the legs. The rolled up towel or pillow behind the knees makes a big difference. All right, so get comfortable. That's the real first step here. Now this pose, I'm going to work on the low back because the low back, that's where most of us, when we have back trouble, that's where it starts. I'm going to set a 5-minute timer. So nestle in here. Maybe work your arms more forward. Just get comfortable. And let your head rest on the setup that you have. And as time goes on, maybe you can unfold the blanket a little bit or remove the blanket as you deepen the stretch. But right now, just focus on how good your low back feels. Breathe in and breathe out, and I'll let you know when 5 minutes is up. Clear the thoughts from your mind, unwind, and find peace. Remember, big, deep breaths. Breaths out the back of your rib cage. As you exhale, think of your belly button coming to touch your spine to allow you to fold more forward. And speaking of folds, maybe you might want to unfold your quilt a little bit or bring your chest down a little bit closer, whatever that requires you to shed here. Bring it closer to your setup. And don't focus on how far your chest is coming toward your legs. Focus on the extension and the good feeling in your back. And adjust what's on your legs so you can intensify that stretch if it feels good. But don't worry about where the chest is in relation to the legs. Focus on the feeling in your low back. Take a deep breath in and a deep stretching exhale out. Navel toward the spine, low back stretched out, chest resting. Take a few more deep breaths, focusing on the power in the breath and how it intensifies and makes the stretch feel better. All right, this has been 5 minutes in this pose. Maybe this pose is really speaking to you and you've kind of found the sweet spot where it's getting better and better. And that happens in a restorative practice. That's why we hold the poses for so long. Give yourself permission to stay right here if this is working wonders in your low back. No rush, no hurry to go on to anything else. This is for you to feel the way you want to feel. All right, I am going to come out of this pose. I'm going to come on up slowly, shoulders over my hips, and I'm going to go into that fish pose. You're familiar with fish. We do this fairly often because it's such a great chest opener. Good for your shoulders, good for your breathing. Just a really good, calm, relaxing pose. All right, so set up with your props however you like. If you're using a bolster, bring it vertically onto your mat. So I'm going to use the pillow, and to be honest with you, the bolster is a little more intense and it's firmer. So if you don't have a bolster, you might want to get one. All right, so I'm going to use my blanket, my 2 towels, and my eye shade, or my towel. All right, so I'm going to take the 2 blankets and I'm going to place them at about my knees. And you don't have to use them that way. Maybe you've got a different setup where you take the pillows onto the bolster. Totally fine. I'm also going to fold my blanket and I'm going to place it on top of this bolster. It's rolled up like a burrito, and I'm going to come to recline here. Now, you've got to do what's right for you. Maybe you prefer to cover yourself with the blanket. That's fine. But I want to recline on this setup, and I want to be able to feel my shoulders going back. Now, your bottom is definitely planted on the ground. You don't want it hanging out in space. So you're encouraging that natural curvature of your spine. Cover your eyes with your towel. Always nice to block out the light and focus inward. Your legs can be long because the primary focus here is going to be the chest, and we'll come back to that in a second. Legs can be long, but if you're feeling a little twingy in your low back, what you might want to do is bend your knees and rest your feet on the mat. Another option here in the low body is to open the knees up and let them rest on those pillows as the soles of your feet touch. Arms down by your sides with your palms face up, and it's snow angel time again. Maybe tee out your arms a little bit or a lot or not at all. But what you want to feel here, and that's what we're going for, is how it feels, not how it looks. We want to feel this nice big stretch in the chest. If you are seated in a chair, little different variation, you just take your hands around and grab the back of your chair and let your chest kind of rise up to the front of the room. But if you can come down to the ground, I would encourage you to do that, because this fish pose is such a great relaxing pose on the ground. So it's stretching out your whole front body. You can feel that. Even your throat, your chest, your abdomen, your intercostal muscles, your hip flexors. Nice big stretch here. So the upper back muscles and the back of the neck are stretching too. And this improves your spinal flexibility and your posture. So take advantage of it. Standing posture. So many of us are hunched over with the shoulders forward, which when you think about it, you're kind of crushing your chest. And just open up and let this be a strong, solid 5 minutes here. Let's go. Deep breaths. Find your peace, letting the thoughts go, and just reacquainting yourself with your deep breath. Deepen your breath a little bit more. Big, full inhales. Feel the center of your chest rising up to the sky. And big, full exhales as you feel your shoulders melt back more toward your mat. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. This is your supported fish pose. You can stay here longer if you like. I'm going to make my way to the wall to come into a legs up the wall pose. Lots of ways you can do it. I'll tell you those in a second. Bring your knees together at the midline of your body. Send your legs long down to the bottom of your mat. Roll off your blocks if you want to. Stay longer if you'd prefer. And then make your way on up to seated. I'm going to make my way to the wall. All right, so if you don't have a wall nearby, you can just take your legs and swing them up onto a chair. If you're lying in bed at night, throw your legs on up over the headboard and stay there for a few minutes before you go to sleep at night. This is such a great pose. So scoot one hip up next to the wall. You could put a blanket underneath you if that feels good. I'm going to throw my legs up the wall. Bottom is kind of close to the wall, but my legs aren't at a 90-degree angle. They're, a little further away. Now, if you're seated in the chair, you've got your calves draped on the chair. So legs up, eyes covered, feels great. Oh, that pillow, the blanket feels good under my head, but I kind of want to put it on my belly. All right, so legs up the wall. Draw your toes towards your shins. It allows your low back to kind of plug into the earth a little bit more. That feels awesome. Legs are up. When your legs go up, the stress comes down. It's supposed to be a great pose for so many things. For insomnia, if you have trouble sleeping, for circulation in your legs, it stretches your hamstrings, and it feels good on the low back. Helps the pelvic floor relax. That's a good thing. If you have fibromyalgia or menopause symptoms like hot flashes or restless leg, this is supposed to be a wonderful pose to alleviate some of the tension, some of the stress in all of those conditions. So let's rest here. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. We'll stay here about 5 minutes together, and then we'll make our way to a final Shavasana pose. But you can stay here longer if you like. And if you don't like, you could make your way back to your mat, come out of this pose, and meet us in final Shavasana. So that's how we'll split the time, but it's your decision. Breathe in, breathe out, and find peace. Little variation. If this doesn't feel so super great on your back, you could bend your knees a little bit and put the soles of your feet on the wall. That might feel better. Try it and see. Soften the area between your eyebrows. Remove the tongue from the roof of your mouth. And let your shoulders drift further away from your ears and down into the mat. Deepen your breath. And with one hand, find your heartbeat. And with the other hand, find the breath in your belly. Take a deep breath in and your deep breath out. So this has been 5 minutes in your legs up the wall pose. You can stay here longer if you like. I'm going to make my way back to the mat for a final Shavasana pose. All right. Final Shavasana. Lots of ways to take it. Maybe you stay in your legs up the wall pose. We're going to take this final Shavasana and have your remote control nearby so you can pause the video whenever you like. And then you can take longer in your final Shavasana. Lots of ways to take it. Classic pose is fully reclined on your back. In this restorative pose today, I'm going to place the bolster underneath my knees and elevate my legs slightly. Feels good on the low back. I'm going to cover the blanket onto my belly, or maybe you cover up completely. Weight of the blanket feels nice on either the feet, the shins, the belly, the chest, anywhere. Weight of the blanket feels super great. All right, so cover your eyes with your eye shade or your little hand towel. Your versatile little towel. Arms down by your sides, palms face up, helps open up in the chest. Helps you feel more open and receptive to life. If you want more stability and you just seek a little more comfort today, put your hands so the palms are face down. You feel more secure that way. Try it and see what you like. But physically, if the palms are up, you've got a little external rotation of the shoulder going on. That helps open up the chest. So nestle in, snuggle in, maybe tuck your shoulder blades a little bit under your back, and breathe. Deep breaths in and deep breaths out. Deepen your breaths, allowing your belly to go up, up, up to the sky, As you fill it up and inhale, and as you exhale, think of the belly button going back to touch the spine. If you have your remote control nearby and you want to stay longer in your final Shavasana pose, stay, 10 minutes, stay 20 minutes, whatever you can give to this pose today. Try to do that. You could hit the pause on your remote. And whenever you're ready, just unpause it and come back to the practice as we close out. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Fill up the lungs and a big full sighing exhale. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Let it all go. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes, and then circle your wrists and your ankles as you revive them and bring life back to those extremities. On an inhale, reach high overhead. Maybe find that new shoulder mobility. Stretch it out as if it were your first good morning stretch before you even get out of bed in the morning to face the day. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and roll into a fetal position onto one side or the other. So just bend your knees, kick your props aside, and roll into this fetal position. Low arms bicep is a pillow for your head. Top shoulder is soft. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. As you're ready, gently float on back up to a comfortable seated position, whatever is comfortable for you now. Bring your hands to a prayer center position. Lengthen up through your spine and the crown of your head. And exhale. Softly think of that breath following the same path down to root you into your mat. Hands are at prayer center. Have a moment of a grateful heart here. Be thankful for what you did. Gently blink your eyes open. There you go. With your eyes open, just for a second, go back to that stress number. What was it? And what is it now? I'm sure it's a lot lower. So I hope you came as you were. You're good enough just the way you are. and let those burdens go. All right. Oh, I forgot to say hi too. I'll do it real quick. Tyrone, Tammy, Diane, Betty, Lynn, Lisa, Liz, Marietta, Stan, Roger, Kelly, Tim, Leslie, Nancy, Betty. Oh, Betty, I'm glad you're here, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed your restorative practice. From me to you, from us to you, much love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. Love you guys. Take care. See you on your mats tomorrow. Bye. Hi. You're a good girl. Good girl. Good girl. You're still here, and I'm really glad for that. Keep this in mind. The path is made through repetition. Keep showing up, and good things will happen. You know that. I'm glad that you're still sticking around. Tell your friends what the yoga's doing for you. Our yoga is free for anybody and everybody on Facebook and YouTube, and they can join in anytime from the privacy of their own home. Tell them about our practice, please. If you'd like to support our broadcast, you can visit our website. It's www.316yoga.com. Stay on your path, enjoy your yoga, and have a great rest of your day. See you on your mats tomorrow.